on how to deal with our financial crisis. Now, I will let you know I am not the financial guru by any means. So a lot of what I'm talking about is coming from a 42-year-old physical therapist assistant, mom of 3, 1 in college, 2 younger children, and the wife of a businessman. So I'm bringing it down to, quote, my level on how I see things. So we're going to look at this through my perspective. And then you can decide whether or not you agree with me. And if you do, that's great. And if you don't, that's great. That's what America's all about. But I've decided to quote, well, let me say this. I decided this week, as I told a good friend of mine, that it was time for me to come out of the closet. No, I'm not gay. I came out of the closet. I am a Republican. And I've been in the closet for the last several months because of the Tea Party. At the beginning of the Tea Party movement, I thought it was great. I thought having all the different political groups, we had libertarians, Democrats, Republicans, all the various ones, and I looked to that party at that point, or the Tea Party movement, as being more financially responsible as American citizens and as a government. So to be honest, I was thought some of their concepts were great. And I thought, okay, this will help. Did not see the Tea Party group as a political movement. Well, over the last several months, various things have happened, and I live in a small rural area in North Carolina, and I realized that I have a sheltered view. And so I more and more realized that I'm questioning the Tea Party movement. Where are they going? What are they thinking? Now, you may say, Tam, why are you questioning this movement? That is unpatriotic. You're no longer a patriot. Well, I say wrong. I think it's good to question, even question the Tea Party movement. I have been not vocal, and that is unlike Tam, as many of you know. And my question to you is this: if we do not raise the debt ceiling, what would happen? I don't quite understand the whole thing, but this is what I told someone today as I was speaking about this. Whether or not to raise the debt ceiling is the question, okay? This is how I look at it. Someone may call Tam. Let's say Bank of America's credit card division calls me, and they say, Tam, you have $1,000 credit card limit that you can charge. You have now been paying your minimum payments, but you are over the $1,000 that you have. And if we do not raise your $1,000 to, let's say, $1,200, then we will have to charge you this astronomical amount because you have gone over the $1,000 credit limit. So it's like a penalty charge. So that's kind of how I looked at the debt ceiling. If we didn't raise the debt ceiling, then we were going to be charged with a huge fee, whether that's politically, economically. Again, I'm not the economic person, and I could be totally wrong, but this is how I'm bringing it down to my level of thinking. So you raise the debt ceiling, and you look at your household budget, and you start making cuts, realistic cuts. There's a few things that you realize you have to have. You have to have running water. Well, you may not have to, but let's say, because there are people that don't have running water. So let's say there's things that we feel like are necessities. So let's look at the necessity of talking with Tam. What she would think would be necessary is water, electric, food, gas to get to work, things like that. So there's certain areas. Now, I don't have to spend $1,000 a month on gas, but I have to get down to where do I really need to be going? So that's what I would ask the government. What do we really need to be doing? What do we need to clean up in our budget? Now, let me tell you what I realize is that isn't for interpretation, because what some people think we need, others do not, and it's a mess. So that's why I feel like we need balance. We need balance. We have the checks and balances. We don't have where our founding fathers said, dig in your heels, no matter what, and bring down the country. And I'll be quite frank with everyone. During those days, it felt like the Tea Party movement and the Congress and all of them were digging their heels in, and we're not gonna deal with this. We're gonna have our way or the highway. Okay? Here's another analogy I use. It's like a marriage. You do not get your way 100% of the time. There will be days you get 90% of your way. There will be days you get 2% of your way. And so the government and the political realm and all that to me is like a marriage. You're not going to get your way. There will be certain things that, yes, you stand firm, that you believed in, that you were voted for. But let me also say that when you're running for an office, you really better be watching what you're promising, because I guarantee 9 times out of 10, you don't know what you're in for till you get in there. And then you're going to sit there and you're going to say to yourself, why did I promise that? And then that's why you break promises. And then some of you break promises because you're just a bunch of liars. So let's be honest. So I'm going to bring up one aspect of this that really got me going. I started getting emails and messages saying that I would no longer, and as a lot of you know, we have a big garden. We put in a really big garden, a couple gardens to be honest with you. And so people were trying to start scaring me, and that I, through this Rural Council Agenda 21, would no longer be able to put in my garden. Okay, so down back to talking with Tam's level, so to speak, I'm thinking, I'm not going to be able to put in my garden anymore? And this is President Obama saying this? I do not understand why I'm not going to get to put in my garden. And for a minute there, you're actually thinking they may be telling you the truth. And I'm not saying that they're lying to me outright. They truthfully believe this is where we're heading in this country. So I told Tam, we need to check into this. So I started digging into the Google search. And let me tell you, you have to dig deep to find proper balance on what this is about, because you definitely could get one side and you can get the other side. And I'm trying to find where the truth is between the two. So what I figured is, I believe in common sense. And I figured out that Agenda 21, and you can look this up, is separate than Rural Council. And see, here little old me always thought Rural Council and Agenda 21 were the same thing. So you can Google for yourself and go onto the UN and pull up the Agenda 21 and read it. And it's very long. And it takes a lot of time to read. But you can read what it says. Now, I ask when you read it, don't put into it what your preconceived ideas are about certain things. Read it for what it is. Then I looked at the Rural Council that President Obama put into place and thought, well, some of that sounds good to me also. So Google that and read about the Rural Council and read the bill that was passed, not the interpretation by everybody else. Again, I want you to bring up what was actually passed, and you can go onto the website for the United States, for the White House, and you can bring up this Rural Council. Read that for yourselves, okay? Then pull up the Agenda 21 on the UN, okay, and read that for yourselves. Do not read anybody else's interpretation, okay? Read it for yourselves when you have time. And let me just say that it can be eye-opening. So here's the other thing I want to show you. I get Better Homes and Garden. Okay, do you see this? Now, we all know her. That's Michelle Obama. That's the First Lady. What is she going to talk to me about? She's going to talk to me about eating right. Now, as you can tell, I don't always eat right. And so I thought, well, this will be a good article. And I don't need the First Lady tell me how to eat, so to speak. I don't think that's her job. But if they're not going to let me put in gardens, then are they going to grow the gardens for me? Because they're growing gardens. Do you see that, Victor? They're growing gardens. So my question to you is if President Obama's agenda, and as many of you, I'll be honest, I mean, I don't agree with him on a lot of stuff, but do you really think that President Obama is going to tell Michelle that he's telling everybody we can't grow gardens anymore? I don't think Michelle's going to put up with that, do you? And I think that President Obama knows that Michelle is a very smart lady, and she's telling us we should have fresh fruits and vegetables and grow gardens. And she's teaching kids how to do that. So if their agenda is not for us to grow gardens, please tell me, why are they on the front of Better Homes and Garden? Who am I supposed to believe? Okay? I don't know. Maybe I don't know much. Maybe the people that are telling me that I'm not going to get to grow my gardens anymore are more right than I am. I'm just asking you guys, do you honestly believe that the government is going to come in and tell me I can't grow my garden? Simple question. And there are those of you out there that believe that. So here's what I want my listeners to do, and my new listeners. I want you to not be afraid to speak out. If you feel that certain people out there are keeping you from speaking out, because I think there's a lot of hate going on. I think there's a lot of fear going on. Everybody and his brother is writing a book now. We have Christine O'Donnell. We have Sarah Palin, who is the bookmaster herself. We have Glenn Beck and all his books. President Obama wrote books. Everybody writes books. They're all going to write books. They're going to make millions of dollars on their books, aren't they? Christine O'Donnell's the one that really shocked me. She's written a book, and she walked off Piers Morgan's. Now, how smart is she? She walks off Piers Morgan's talk show, night show. Not very intelligent lady. I'm not buying her book. She couldn't answer the questions. If you can't answer the questions, get out. And she's saying she's not in politics, but she's going to sell the book and she didn't want to discuss her book. If you write a book, you better be ready to discuss your book. That's common sense Tam here telling you. Don't go on the book tour if you're not going to answer the questions, because there are going to be people standing in those lines to get your little John Henry, and they're going to ask you questions. You're going to be able to answer them? Because let me tell you, there's rougher people out there than Piers Morgan. Okay? So here we go. I've got 5 things that I want you all as my listeners, okay? And I've got them all over the spectrum, and I know that. And I may have to go on the witness protection program when this is all over. But I want you to listen to me. Please come up here. You see we're going to get this up on here. Okay, first, get it right here. We're new with the webcam, so bear with us. Right here. Don't let them play on your fears, okay? Don't. Educate yourselves, okay? Read about it. Learn about it. Don't let them tell you. Don't let them shoot you all those emails and everything, and you read them and you read their little links. You dig deeper, okay? Follow the money. I follow the money of the Tea Party. I'm not saying it's locally happening, but look at the nationwide. Where is that money coming from and what's going on, okay? If we're not going to be political, follow the money. I thought the Tea Party was out for the people. After I saw where the money's coming from, as a nation, I'm very, very much questioning what the true motive of the Tea Party is. Okay? And I'm not a Democrat. Okay, you guys? Then the next thing. Don't let anyone scare you into voting for them. They will scare you. They will tell you on all sides that if you don't vote for them, the world's going to come to an end. They're going to take everything. We're going to be like Hitler. We're going to be in the Hitler days. Don't let them scare you. Educate yourself on the people you're voting for. Okay? Ask them questions. Educate yourself on the issues. Don't let somebody tell you what it means. You read it. You do your studying. Research. Again, dig deep into the junk to find the real answers. Because trust me, there are very, very well-educated people that are making the money off your fears, thus giving you the junk. Dig deep and research it yourself. Do not let people tell you what everything means. Don't let them put Agenda 21 with the Rural Council when it really is. I thought it honestly was one proposed whatever. And I realize it's 2 different entities that somebody has put together to put the fear into all of us. And number 5, speak up and do not be afraid. Do not be afraid to speak up. Speak up to the Tea Party people. If you're a Republican, speak up. Tell them, get off this train. You hijacked our train. Get your own train. Get your own cart. Get off. I mean, I ask you, fellow Republicans, truthfully, would Ronald Reagan have been a Tea Party person? He raised the debt ceiling 17 times. Why did he do that? Ask yourselves. And then Tea Party people, ask yourselves, do you truly need to keep attaching Ronald Reagan to your movement? Again, I ask you to consider what I've discussed with you and don't be afraid to speak out. Thank you for joining me on the Talking with Tam podcast. Podcast.